The term Century of Humiliation evokes a period in Chinese history that profoundly shaped the nation's identity and trajectory. Spanning from the mid-19th century to the mid-20th century, this era saw China subjected to foreign aggression, internal disarray, and a loss of sovereignty that deeply wounded its collective psyche. It began with the Opium Wars and culminated in the rise of a new resurgent China. This narration script explores the causes, events, key players, and consequences of this turbulent century, shedding light on how it continues to influence modern China's worldview and policies. In the early 19th century, the Qing Dynasty ruled a vast empire. It had long considered itself the Middle Kingdom, the center of civilization. However, this confidence masked growing vulnerabilities: technological stagnation, corruption, a bloated bureaucracy, and a failure to adapt to changing global dynamics. While European powers industrialized, expanded their military capabilities, and built global empires, China remained inward-looking and resistant to reform. This isolation would prove disastrous. Western powers, particularly Britain, were eager to access China's vast markets. However, China's rejection of Western goods created a significant trade imbalance. Britain found a solution: opium. By illegally exporting opium into China, Britain reversed the trade imbalance at the cost of devastating China's population and economy. The First Opium War, 1839 to 1842, erupted when Chinese authorities confiscated and destroyed British opium shipments in Canton. In response, Britain launched a military campaign that quickly overwhelmed China's antiquated defenses. The war ended with the Treaty of Nanking in 1842, the first of many unequal treaties. China was forced to cede Hong Kong, open several ports to foreign trade, and grant extraterritorial rights to British citizens. The humiliation deepened with the Second Opium War, 1856 to 1860, where Britain and France again defeated China and extracted further concessions, including the legal trade of opium, more treaty ports, and the looting of the Old Summer Palace in Beijing. These defeats shattered the myth of Chinese superiority and marked the beginning of foreign domination. The Qing government's inability to protect its people and territories sowed discontent and undermined its legitimacy. As external pressures mounted, internal unrest erupted. The Taiping Rebellion, 1850 to 1864, led by Hong Xiuquan, a self-proclaimed brother of Jesus Christ, was one of the deadliest civil wars in human history. It sought to overthrow the Qing and establish a new utopian regime. Though eventually crushed, the rebellion weakened the Qing Dynasty and exposed its fragility. Other uprisings, such as the Nian Rebellion and Muslim revolts in the northwest, further drained the empire's resources. Amidst this chaos, regional warlords gained power, and the central government struggled to reassert control. The self-strengthening movement in the late 19th century attempted to modernize China's military and industry. However, the reforms were half-hearted and hindered by conservative factions within the court. China lagged behind while other nations surged forward. By the end of the 19th century, foreign powers carved out spheres of influence across China. Britain dominated the Yangtze River area, France claimed southern provinces, Russia moved into the northeast, and Germany seized Shandong. Even Japan, once a tributary state, emerged as a formidable power. The Sino-Japanese War, 1894 to 1895, was a devastating blow. Japan's swift victory and the Treaty of Shimonoseki forced China to cede Taiwan and recognize Korean independence. Worse, China had to pay heavy reparations, exposing its weakness to the world. These humiliations sparked the 100 Days Reform in 1898, led by the Guangxu Emperor and reformist intellectuals. Yet conservative forces, led by Empress Dowager Cixi, staged a coup and reversed most changes. China's chance at meaningful modernization was again delayed. Frustration with foreign domination and missionary activity culminated in the Boxer Rebellion, 1899 to 1901. The anti-foreign boxer fighters, with the tacit support of the Qing court, targeted foreign nationals and Chinese Christians. The Eight-Nation Alliance, including Britain, Japan, Russia, and the US, intervened militarily, crushing the rebellion and imposing the Boxer Protocol. The protocol was another national disgrace. Heavy indemnities, more foreign troops, and a further loss of sovereignty. The rebellion's failure and the Qing's complicity sealed the dynasty's fate. In 1911, the Wuchang Uprising sparked the Xinhai Revolution, which led to the fall of the Qing Dynasty. Sun Yat-sen, a revolutionary leader, envisioned a new republic founded on nationalism, democracy, and the people's livelihood. The Republic of China was born in 1912, ending over 2,000 years of imperial rule. However, unity proved elusive. The young republic was plagued by warlordism, with regional military leaders vying for control. Central authority was weak and chaos reigned. Despite Sun Yat-sen's efforts, the ideals of the revolution were difficult to realize. Even under the Republic, foreign influence persisted. The Treaty of Versailles in 1919 transferred German concessions in China to Japan instead of returning them to China. This betrayal sparked the May 4th movement, a student-led protest that demanded national sovereignty and cultural renewal. The movement gave rise to new ideologies, including Marxism, which eventually led to the founding of the Chinese Communist Party, CCP, in 1921. Meanwhile, the Nationalist Party, Kuomintang, or KMT, led by Chiang Kai-shek, attempted to unify the country, but tensions with the CCP escalated into civil war. In 1931, Japan invaded Manchuria and established the puppet state of Manchukuo. The League of Nations failed to act decisively. In 1937, full-scale war erupted with the Marco Polo Bridge incident, marking the start of the Second Sino-Japanese War. Japanese forces committed horrific atrocities, including the Nanjing Massacre, where hundreds of thousands of civilians were slaughtered. China's resistance, led by both KMT and CCP forces, was valiant, but came at a tremendous cost. During World War II, China was recognized as a major Allied power, but foreign troops continued to operate on its soil. The war left China devastated, politically fractured, and economically crippled. After Japan's defeat in 1945, civil war resumed between the KMT and CCP. In 1949, the CCP emerged victorious, and Mao Zedong proclaimed the founding of the People's Republic of China. The Century of Humiliation had come to an end, symbolically and politically. For many Chinese, this moment marked the restoration of national pride and sovereignty. The communist regime vowed never to allow foreign domination again. It embarked on a path of self-reliance and central control. Though the ensuing decades brought their own turmoil, from the Great Leap Forward to the Cultural Revolution, the trauma of the past shaped China's desire for unity, strength, and independence. The Century of Humiliation remains deeply etched in China's national consciousness. It is invoked in education, politics, and foreign policy. The memory of past suffering justifies present ambitions, from military modernization to economic self-sufficiency. Today's China sees itself as reclaiming its rightful place in the world. Initiatives like the Belt and Road, territorial assertions in the South China Sea, and the emphasis on national rejuvenation all stem from a historical narrative shaped by humiliation and recovery. Understanding this period is crucial to understanding modern China, its pride, its caution, and its fierce determination never to be humiliated again.